Alright, everybody, welcome back. We are here with the finals of the third North American qualifier in the awesome Alienware Awesome Cup 2. Before we head into the finals, however, we do have some things we would like to say.
Yep, we're just going to show everybody what they're competing for and go straight into our sponsor message. A huge shout out to Alienware for providing the Alienware Alphas for this tournament. They've provided 6 Alienware Alphas. That is a huge thing. We are powered by GoSu Gamers. There's a huge thank you to Ronimo for obviously making the game and continuing to put out this tournament. And a huge shout out to ES Champ. Without further ado, we have our prize list. They are going to be competing. First place is going to be getting $1,800 cash. 3 Alienware Alphas, some Steam items, and a golden game badge. Second place, $900. Another 3 Alphas, some Steam items, and a silver in-game badge. Third place, you're going to be getting $900 cash, some Steam items, and a bronze in-game badge. And fourth place, $450 cash money and some Steam items. Without further ado, we're getting right into game 1 of our finals, where we're going to be seeing Ion versus or Spade and his incredible team.
That's Spade and his incredible team.
Spade and his incredible team. We're going to be seeing Ion running the Fox, the Scoop, and the Clunk. On the other hand, we have Spade and his incredible team rocking Nibs, rocking the Squid, and rocking the Frog. We're going to be seeing game 1 coming up on Augion. Without further ado, Nata, give us a countdown. Let's get straight to the action.
You got it, you got it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So once again, we are going to be looking at the base abilities. I believe that is the norm about now, except for Clunk, who is going to piggy into Boots, a very good choice. Invis is going to go to Penny on Ion's side. So, what do you think is going to happen here?
Well, actually, before we get into that, I do want to point out a few things as far as picking. Actually, a huge team fight coming out first, and Spade is going to be picking up Mock now right here, as that is going to be the first kill of the game. Actually, a double kill coming out as he picks up Scoop as well. But as I was going to say, there are a few characters that you can get away with piggying with. That being Clunk and that being Scoop are the 2 main characters and the first characters that come to mind, especially for Boots. Clunk is just so slow. Boots. And Dave W is actually going to get picked up by a misplaced dash, and Penny realizes that and gets back on it.
Yeah, that's the dangerous thing about dashing in for a Penny at the turret, because if you miss, there's not a whole lot you can do to get away, especially not this early in the game.
Nope, you're gonna get pounced, and you're gonna get pulsed. Excuse me.
Hammer
and Spade is taking a lot of damage, but Ubi able to deal a lot of damage on the return right now, as Penny and Scoop are forced to go back, and Spade is gonna be dealing a few more pokes before he's out, as he only has 2 bars right now. He should be getting back, picking up some HP. He decides to stay in that lane, wait for those 2 droids to get up, and he is going to be able to get that HP. And we're going to see the entirety of Ion right now, just controlling this top lane, as Dave W is going to be in a seemingly bad situation, but is able to dash through the Penny Pulse, not take any damage, but still get amped.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Some people don't realize that Frog's dash is only damage immunity, not debuff immunity. So they get surprised if they get slowed, or if they get pulled by a Leon, or get amplified, as just happened.
Or even that DOT. Null's DOT. Frog may dash through it, but as long as he goes over that spit, he's going to be taking some DOT.
Now, it only blocks out 1 tick of the DOT. The rest of the ticks will be applied as usual. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're playing Frog.
So now we're kind of seeing this top lane shift over in the hands of Spade and his incredible team right now. So that obviously has to do a huge portion with that invis, and Ion is just going to wait it out as they're playing very carefully, knowing that if they get hit by Dave W with that invis, it's going to be a lot of damage coming out, because the entirety of Spade's team is going to collapse once Dave W hits his dash.
Oh yeah, and they have a ton of both CC and burst damage, as well as that Nibs, which is going to be providing for just DOT in such a scale that we might even call it burst. Oh, not DOT, sorry. DPS, but DOT-based DPS. It gets confusing. Also, we're looking at 2 piggies coming out of Spade and his incredible teams, both coming like in a mid-stage, mid-upgrade kind of thing. just to get the snowball going, I believe.
And the Explode is actually going to be able to hit on Spade right now, and the Pulse actually hitting Spade is going to be taking a huge hit. He's going to be very low. Ubi and Dave W going to remain on the map as Ubi's going to be able to pick up some health and battle out. As Dave W takes a huge amp coming out right now, and Ubi's going to deal a small portion of damage and be able to get back, taking up that extra health. Dave W maintaining his kind of creep zone presence, excuse me.
Yeah,
But-
he does not have any upgrades yet, but I am sure he's looking to get some hammer pants or maybe even the mutant worms, depending on how he is playing.
Well, I would look at this point towards Hammer Pants. He's got almost 300 solar as he approaches it right now, actually. So he'll be able to get almost 2 stages of Hammer Pants shortly.
Yeah, well, at the 320, he will be able to pick that up.
And we're seeing this kind of, I don't want to say lax play from both teams right now, but both teams are being very cautious in their engagements and their positioning. As we see one team gets invis, the other team retreats back a little bit and forces them to wait it out. And a missed Explode right now is going to force Spade and his incredible team to come back and kind of duke it out back with the entirety of Ion. But as we saw there, and as I said before, both of these teams are playing very carefully because they know that either team in a 2v3 situation is going to be very bad to fight out.
Well, it's going to be dangerous. In general, when you get up in higher tiers, you're going to not want to be there unless your entire team is there.
And we're seeing the 2 stages of Hammer Pants coming out on Frog, as we said before.
Alright, so just looking at the comps, what do you think is the main advantage in each comp?
Well, you know, we're taking a look at Ion's comp right now. We have this potential for the amp, for the Explode on top of that. And actually, Ubi's going to be taking a lot of damage there. But we have this potential for
Oh, and the
huge
hammer
damage.
picks him up! The hammer from Shitzy is going to be able to pick up Ubi, just creeping along the line. Like, that's what the hammer does, I feel. It creeps around the floor like a snake if you throw it right. And with that range that he's just gotten his hand into, he is going to be able to just throw it, and it's going to fly forever.
But as I was saying before, you know, we're looking at the advantages to these comps. The potential for that huge burst is there on Ion's part again. They have that amp, they have that Explode, they have that scoop there for the secure. And we're taking a look at Spade and his incredible team. Burst. Burst,
Oh.
burst.
Yep, I'd say just damage in general. They have all the kinds of damage you can have.
Well, they do have that variety as far as the damage goes, but it's going to be combated very quickly with Ion's comp at this point.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
Silence would be a really good upgrade on this penny early, though.
it is already a good upgrade. If you look at the builds, you will find that silence is already being applied.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I keep getting confused with Sentient Rock and the other upgrade. One Salt Shaker is one way, and one Pepper Shaker is the other way.
Oh, yes. Well, silence, as you said, is going to help tremendously. And with 2 spongy characters being Clunk and Scoop, you're going to be able to actually take up a lot of the damage that they're going to be able to do. So even though they have a lot of damage, they are fighting a lot of sustain, like really a whole bunch of sustain.
Yeah, they're just going to be able to stay into these fights as long as possible. And we see that Silence coming out right now in the Explode from Ion. He's going to be able to pick up Spade as Machnow gets the 5th kill of the game, actually. And a nice exchange going on. Dave W able to pick up the scoop. And that is going to be a 1-for-1 exchange on the draw.
Yeah, Dave W does not want to be underneath Mokno. The bite is going to be absolutely devastating. He is actually opting for Explode damage rather than Snare to begin with. Most likely to deal with the nibs. As we all know, she will not get snared or CC'd in any way while using her fire. So, Snare Bite might seem a little less useful, and therefore he is opting for damage.
You know, when we look at how versatile Nibs is as far as being quote-unquote immune from these snares, it's very difficult to deal with when playing against a very good Nibs. And playing in top-tier gameplay like this, Nibs is going to be using the teleport as an escape rather than an entrance to these fights. So, depending on her positioning in these team fights, we're going to see the Explode come off, and then, as we saw right there, the teleport right after. Get out of those seemingly bad situations, escape a Clunk Explode, but you have to time it just right.
No, that's absolutely true. Otherwise, you might end up in a really bad situation. Being, you know, Mokno getting the return explode, but not quite enough to pick up Spade.
Spade is going to escape with that kill, but that was one of those positioning times where Mokno really needed to have the entirety of Ion with him to kind of fight that, and Spade and his incredible team kind of saw that they were switching the lanes and were able to pick him up on the draw.
Yeah, that's well, it was a risky maneuver because Spade almost died for it. And had it been an exchange, it would not have been nearly as effective as it turned out to be. So we are currently looking at the end of the early game. People are starting getting into it. Mokno now picking up 2 stages of Screamer Engine, so the snare bite, it's coming, it's going to be real, most likely to now to get a better grasp on either the Swiggins or the Frog. Not quite sure what he is going to be focusing. What would you recommend Mokno focus in terms of where should he land his snare bites?
Get that Frog. Just take out that Frog as quick as possible. A double stage of snare bite on a Frog, that's almost a secured kill with this comp at this point. He's got Invis now, and Spade and his team are playing very, very careful right now. They know that the Invis has been taken, and they're just going to be defending these lanes.
Oh yeah. It's super important to know if there's a clunk and he has the Invis, that is 9 out of 10 times that's a guaranteed kill. So sometimes you want to play it safe. Maybe just keep to your own side of the map. Don't move too far out from your turrets. Just stay in your creep area. Clear the droids that get too close. Make sure you're together as a team.
You said it's almost a secured kill. A clunk with 2 stages of the snare, and that's a lot of damage coming out. And Dave W is going to be able to pick up Mach now, as that is now the 8th kill coming out. 5 in favor of Spade and his incredible team, and 3 coming out on Ion. But a clunk invisible with 2 stages of snare. That is a secured kill.
That is a secure, yes. But no, there circumstances and other things may happen. But as a general rule of thumb, yes, that is definitely a secured kill if people are out and you get the reach on them.
So now we're seeing Dave W rocking the Invis right now. All 3 members of Ion are back on the map, but a lot of damage is being dealt to Robbie and Ubi. Ubi is going to be forced to get back, and Dave W and Spade both on the hunt now for Shitzy, as he's taking a lot of damage.
Oh,
right
and
now.
the
Dave
bite
W
hits!
The bite.
Going
Ubi's
for the Ubi. Come on, yes!
Ubi's going to get picked up by Robbie.
Robbie's
Robbie's going to
rocking
pick up
in
Ubi
with
on that one, and Spade is going to be the only person on map now to defend against the entirety of Ion.
With the double kill. And now we're going to be seeing a lot of turret damage. What Klung does best, just go ahead and get that damage done. There is a huge damage potential just lying around there in Ion's comp right now.
I think that Salvo would be an excellent upgrade, but it's very early on to say that, as Mokno is going to be taking that anchor. But it's very early on because Dave W can easily pick up Arbe at any point in this game because he has no upgrades so far on his NATO. So it could be a nice combatant, and it could be a great push potential for Ion. But as I said before, Dave W picking up that... Dave W picking up that Arbe could just thwart out Salvo and deal a lot of damage to Ion instead of dealing a lot of damage instead. And that gracefully placed silence is going to prevent the forward movement of the entirety of Spade and his incredible team.
Everyone is kind of low now except for Nims, but that's not going to be much. I mean, Ion now has the turret down, the Super Droid is going to roll in, get destroyed by Nibs, and Mokno is kind of out of position right now. He does not want to be here.
He's a little bit out of position, but we have that agility coming out on Penny, allowing her to switch lanes very quickly for that defensive play to allow him to escape. So he can kind of get away with this early out of position, but once we get into the later stages of the game where damage is kind of maxed out, HP bars have increased, it's going to be very difficult for him to maintain his position in that area where he wants to stay in that forward kind of placement on the map to be able to attack at any given time. So he can get away with it in this early game so far, but as the game progresses, it's going to be more and more difficult to do that.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Swiggins opting for 3 stages of energized hooks. So now when he gets the pool boy, which I'm absolutely certain he will get, it's gonna be a mess. I mean, how are you gonna deal with all that damage? No one has pills yet. It's gonna. I think it's going to force Ion to pick up pills if he gets the pool boy right now.
It definitely will. And Churchy's going to be caught in the midst right now. Ubi's fire going to be forcing Ion to retreat back and not allow any forward movement. And that's another great way to play defensively with Nibs. Landing your fire in a seemingly bad situation where the entirety of Ion is forcing themselves forward into your area and just using your fire as a defense mechanism to prevent them from moving forward. They're going to be taking a lot of damage, and if they decide to continue moving forward, they're going to take even more damage.
This is what it's all about, damage. And with that range on Nibs, you're going to be able to, apply that damage really nicely. I mean, you can just see how far away from the turret she can be and still, like, tickle the bottom of your feet. And, oh, there we have it. The pool boy.
We see Pool Boy, but we also see Safety Explode coming out for Clunk as reduction on damage being dealt to yourself on the Explode. So he's going to be able to get these Explodes off without taking any damage to himself actually earlier on. So
no, he does have one stage of thermonuclear cleaner. So
that's right. He is going to be taking a small portion of damage. Excuse me, but nowhere near where he would be taking if he didn't have Safety Explode.
Oh, you're absolutely right on that. Now Clunk again with the Invis looking to get some things done. I think that Mokno, if he gets that bite off, that we're looking at a kill. Unless, of course, it's a Nibs. Unless, of course, it's a Nibs. In that case, the teleport out might just be...
and he is going to waste it up top, actually. But as you were saying, unless it was a Nibs, or unless Spade and his team just kind of retreat back to those turrets and play the turret game. But he did waste it on top, and that did allow Spade and his team to kind of relax a little bit and not play on their toes and play extremely defensive for those situations. But both teams right now just kind of back to this farm game, looking for the opportunities to attack. And we saw Spade trying to look for it there, and Dave W just wasn't in the positioning, as well as Ubi. So that's going to be a small poke coming out for him, and it's going to force everybody to rotate, switch up, and kind of just go back to that lane.
You can see they're waiting for Spade and his incredible team. No one wants to take the bouncer. They're all coming through the jungle. They know that they want them up with all the no's.
And that's where we see these top tier teams playing and knowing where to go, knowing that the other team is going to be waiting on that bouncer, so they're going to be taking in that creep zone and be able to kind of thwart out that plan that Ion had to assault them as they came up the bouncer. So just an excellent display of map awareness.
That's actually an interesting hammer. If you Shitzy just did this, bouncing the hammer towards the wall in the bounce area, making it repeatedly go from left to right, actually stacking up a bunch of damage when you're dropping it down from the mid to the bottom lane. Very nice hammer there. Just wanted to point that out. That's a great hammer spot.
So we're seeing a lot of these strategies that some of these newer teams can kind of adapt into their play right now, as you see these top tier teams go for it and just attack each other viciously. But map strategy and map awareness is a huge part of this, and being able to work with the map itself just really definitely separates the level of play that we see here from the level of play that we see in some of these public matches. So for those newer teams watching and newer players looking to get into competitive knowledge, really pay attention to the way that both of these teams are playing, using the map to their advantage, being very smart about their engagements. But Spade is actually going to get... Oh my goodness, Spade is actually going to be able to get out. The Dave W dash is going to be able to save him. And Dave W taking a huge chunk of damage right now and is able to dash out again.
No fancy hammer this time. He is going to get out. And we are actually almost at the 20-minute mark.
We are 2.5 minutes away from the 20-minute mark, signifying the late stages of the game right now. And we're going to see Mock now just narrowly misses Explode. Spade's going to be taking a lot of damage right now as he's going to be caught out a little bit by that penny. And Ubi is going to come up right there for the attempted save and notices that Spade is going to be able to get out on his own. We see that bottom turret is actually not on map anymore, but it is potentially still alive. And a nice kill coming. Dave W is going to pick up Shotzi right now, as they're going to proceed into that midsection of the map and take control of that mid.
Yeah, they are in a good spot now, Spade and his team. They can really work with the open spaces that they have, because of the way their comp works. With you can from far away, you can engage from a really long distance. You come in The silence
Robbie's
actually...
actually taking a huge portion right now, and Spade's going to be able to pick him up. But as you were saying before, that kill on Scoop kind of allowed them to open up the map a little bit. So it allowed them to move freely a little bit more without the worry of being snared down and without the worry of having that CC on that Scoop.
And now, oh wow, it's gonna be really tough for Ion to really come out here. You know, see, just as soon as they move out, they are going to be hammered down. Well, not hammered literally, but you know, you get the idea. They're gonna get just absolutely destroyed if they go outside because of the huge amount of burst they have going. So they need to be really smart when they go in and when they engage, preferably with a penny silence pulse.
And with someone invis right now, you have Dave W invis lurking around in that creep section right now, just waiting to pounce on the first person that they see. And it looks like invis is going to be wasted for Dave W, as Spade and his team kind of progress back into that midsection, and the Squid has almost 400 solar. The Frog has almost 320 solar. This is a huge portion of solar. We're going to see a lot of damage increases right now as Dave W teleports back. He's going to be the first to get back. Ubi's going to be the second to teleport back. And you know, this is one of those situations where Ion doesn't know where they are. So they're playing very carefully, and this is where we see that kind of commitment to being careful. Huge teleport back for all members of Spade's team, because Ion didn't know if they were in that top section, if they were in that creep section, or I don't even think they knew who had invis or if anybody had invis at that point because it wasn't up.
Right now, it seems that they're just chilling around in that hidden area, trying to get a bit, you know, they're surveying the map. That's a really good spot to actually look out. You get a ton of vision down there, actually.
But in a situation like that, where nobody knows where anybody is, and actually the safety explode coming out, Spade's going to get hit by that explode, is going to allow Robbie and Shutzi to kind of get back a little bit. But, you know, you were talking about vision before. They didn't know where Spade and his team were. They could have been in that bottom section. They could have been in that top creep section. They could have been anywhere. So them playing very safely there allowed Spade to get those 2 teleports back, get those upgrades bought, and allow them to get back in lane without forfeiting any of their pushes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. And, you know, getting this sort of ominous, where are they, where are we, they don't know, that's super important. The less your enemy know, the better. Because that's going to lead people to, for instance, we were looking at that bounce pad gank that didn't work. That's going to be able to, you're going to be able to pull things like that off if the enemy doesn't know where you are.
And Dave W kind of caught out on bottom there as he takes a good portion of damage. But, you know, I definitely agree with you in the aspect of it adds an element of paranoia into your gameplay, where you don't know where the other team is. You're wondering, you're saying, okay, I could get ganked at any moment. This is a huge burst team, and we see that burst coming out right now as Rob is taking a lot of damage.
Oh wait, he's actually getting out! He's actually getting out! What?
The counter explode coming out on Mock now is going to secure the kill, and the silence
yes! Oh, that is a great counterplay. That is a great counterplay. They have a huge push going. They have no nibs to take it out. They do ever have that Frog waiting on bottom lane to perhaps get something done. That's not going to be too much, and they explode. No explode.
Just missing, and Rust Robbie just missing his pulse is going to allow that Frog to kind of escape, but he does take a chunk pulse right there as half of his health is gone. He's going to be forced to kind of defend this bottom section at this point, and really just hope and pray that his team can get back quickly enough to combat the push that Ion had.
Well, I'd actually say that was a win in Dave W's book, because he did actually manage to distract Ion and not actually deal with the top turret. I think they could have committed more to top, as bottom was basically one hit away anyway.
Well, so, yeah, he got out, he survived, and he was able to kind of lure attention away from those pushes. So it's an excellent way to make the best out of a bad situation. And Spade's going to take a pulse on the bottom, but Ion just waiting in that midsection, and at this point Spade knows that they're waiting in that midsection. They need to be really careful because this Clunk can just assault them at any moment. A well-placed pulse along with a hammer can secure a kill for that Clunk.
Oh yes, you are absolutely right. And now we are actually looking at pills for almost everyone. Everyone on Spade and his incredible team, they have it, but Ion were only looking at pills on Roche. So So I'm not quite sure where this is going. I'd like to see more pills on the more tankier and bulkier characters, so they can soak up that extra damage and potentially save a life.
Well, at this point, it's safe to say we've entered the late game. Builds are basically in place at this point, so it's more utility that we're going to be seeing. But, excuse me, as far as damage goes, there's really not much more that these teams can go with their damage. Frog has gotten Boombox. Scoop has gotten his banner of the triple scoop, and we're looking at HP coming out on majority of the members right now, and now we see Salvo coming out on that Clunk. But I think Dave W is going to turn it around at some point and pick up that NATO. Not NATO, Arbe on his NATO.
Not quite sure if he's going to get Arbe or not, but we'll see. Because there's a bunch of options that he has. Shield, I think, is going to be much more fitting for what comp they're trying to do.
Or even Critters. Start an engagement with Critters.
The tweeters, I am going to
I don't know why I keep calling them Critters.
I'm going to forever hate you for that.
It's just my American way of pronouncing the upgrade, even though it's completely inaccurate and wrong.
Yes. All right, so we're really looking at, you know, who does the next thing. No, I don't think neither team is actually, right, how do we progress? Because no one wants to lose the finals, so we're going to see people being very
very careful, but unfortunately there, Dave W was not very careful and got caught out with that bite and was unable to nullify the bite with the dash as he was kind of knocked and held down. And Chutzy is going to be taking a lot of damage right now, but is able to pick up those 2 creeps, allowing him to survive. And we're going to see a small little push coming out for Ion on this bottom lane right now, as a Clunk with Salvo has begun his punishment on the turrets.
The punishment of the turrets.
The turrets need punishment, and Clunk is here to deal the punishment.
Yes. Very naughty turrets. They have been there defending, and that's just not okay. Actually, something that I'm looking for is the slow on Nibs. I don't think we've seen that yet.
It's a very powerful upgrade. That's the only thing I can say. And Spade's going to get caught out right now as Mach now picks up another explode kill, and that is going to be 9-7 in favor of Ion at this point. But slow on Nibs' teleport is so unbelievably powerful. And we're actually seeing his Salvo build come into play right now as he picks up his double missile, the first stage of it.
Oh yeah, that's gonna just allow for so much turret destruction, and whether he goes for the fragmental shells or the attack speed upgrade or even the Fat Pete, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be absolutely turret demolishing. Because that's
Salvo
what
Clunk
does.
itself is scary. But
Yeah. We can agree on that.
it's actually very terrifying to see. So we're actually going to be seeing Mach now pick up that invis and push into the section of Spade's turrets, waiting to kind of drop down with that explode. They're waiting for that silence pulse to land, and Mach now being very smart right now, not showing anything, and the explode's going to come out, and that is going to secure a kill. And as we said before, it's almost a secured kill, but Ubi and Dave W being very smart about that, picking up Robbie on the way out. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange at this point. We have 2 of the more agile characters and 2 of the more tanky characters now in a 2v2 situation for these teams.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like it's again who strikes first. I think that's what's gonna determine the fight here. It's who gets the first opportunity to really just roll in the damage.
Ubi has to be very careful right now, because if he starts the engagement with his teleport, it's going to be very difficult to escape that Clunk. And we're now noticing Ion, both members of Ion kind of teleporting back at this point, and leaving Ubi able to pick up that invis. And we're actually seeing Free Flight come out, the attack speed for Clunk. So he's going to be dealing a lot of fast pace and a lot of damage. And we're going to see a huge engagement going on now. Ubi dealing a lot of damage. Ubi is actually going to narrowly avoid that explode, but taking a lot of damage. Scherzy's going to be taken down. And now Mach now and Robbie kind of have to duke it out right now. And Spade and his team are going to be able to pick up a kill.
Alright, but he does get out. The Penny provides an excellent meat shield. And I think if they don't get back soon enough, that bottom turret is going to go down. We have 3 droids and 2 players to push that.
I'm pretty sure it is going to go down in this one push, but He's going to actually land the explode coming down. A nice
That
explode picking up Dave W. And now Machno has to avoid Spade. But let's see if Robbie can get back into this. Hunting down the Squid. Squid is going to be... Oh, the miss. And Spade is actually going to be taken down. Robbie with the follow-through. The swing and the follow-through is going to allow a secured kill on that. That's what they always taught us in baseball. Always commit.
Commit to the swing, yes.
Commit to the swing.
Yeah, go in. See, that's the thing. That's like when you're in such a high pressure moment, that's what happens. Sometimes you forget your mouse is on the opposite side of your character, barely just on the wrong side, and then you end up doing something that looks absolutely silly, while it might just have been like a millimeter of error.
But we're seeing the clears come out on Ubi and Dave W right now. You know, Ion really needs to get into that section, really needs to establish their dominance in their creep section, but Spade and his team just have such a strong presence right there, and that being proportionately due to the Swiggins. Swiggins is a huge threat, and you really don't want to be in his line of sight, especially when you have a Frog and a Nibs waiting to pounce on the first thing that's caught in an anchor.
Yeah, there's an amazing follow through in this comp. They really have it going. They can just do so much damage, and it's going to be applied so quickly, and they can apply it in a lot of different ways, which is why it's such a good comp.
And you had stated that shield would be the best option for the Frog, and he did get the shield at this point. So, nice prediction.
Yes, I do think it's gonna match up well, because you're gonna have something that can block out the bite, the damage from the bite, and from there you have a little bit of leftover shield to sort of take the edge of the explode if we're looking at a single clunk engagement, which can really save lives.
Ubi's going to get hit with that hammer just narrowly, though, as Spade and his team were kind of waiting in that creep section to see what was going to happen. And we're going to see the entirety of Ion just maintain their position in a high-octane assault on that top lane. They're just going to continue to push it. They're going to continue to clear and force Spade to move around, switch these lanes up to prevent any turret damage from being dealt. And this is one of those times where map positioning really does affect the outcome of this game. Because if you can establish your dominance in the opponent's section of the map, you can kind of allow yourself to get those pushes in and continue to maintain your position and allow yourself to get ready for those explodes, get ready for those quick kills, and get out quickly.
Yep, Ian, you're right. And now again, you can, with the Invis, get those nice Invis explodes off very nicely, but that did not go as planned. And Mokno is actually getting extremely low, getting the nice bite in. He is super low, and I don't think that's going to be enough, unfortunately.
It is not going to be enough, as Robbie is the only member of Team Ion left on this map right now, forced to thwart off Dave W. and Spade, and Ubi now coming in with the fire, but Robbie is able to escape, being the agile penny that he is. And we're seeing the second stage of Missile Barrage come out on the Clunk. That is going to be another missile add to his third shot. So,
yep, his string is going to be absolutely powerful.
Extremely powerful. And we're now seeing Dave W. kind of poke at that bottom turret a little bit, force Robbie to get into that bottom lane, allowing his droids to continue their push into that top lane, but also clearing up that bottom lane for his droids to deal some damage to that bottom turret, as well as the top turret again. And now we're seeing Machno back on lane, as well as Schutzi, and Spade is going to be holding the Invis section right now. All the cards are in his hand. All he needs to do is deal them out.
Oh, yes. Love that metaphor. We are really looking at, some dangerous stuff here, and I think Penny now is maxed out. There's no more upgrades to be had.
There is... I'm just going to go over the upgrades real quick, and I believe that's 3, and that's 3. Nope, there are going to be no more upgrades that are going to be available for Penny at this point, as Robbie opted for the extra stun.
Well, it's something I don't think we see a lot, is when people truly get maxed out. Everyone plays at their full potential, and I think we might get to see that this match.
But we're just seeing the solar difference in kills come out now, as Penny has 5 kills and is a few hundred solar above the rest of his team right now. And Robbie's getting hit by the anchor of Swiggins. Spade has to be very careful right now. That's an Invis Penny who can easily silence his whole team if they all bunch up. So kudos to Spade and his team being able to thwart off that Invis. That was a very important Invis to thwart off, because at that point, if any kill was had at that stage of the game, That probably would have been that second turret and potentially even the game. And now we're seeing the duration chain come out for Swiggins as well as the increased health. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Ubi and Spade's team is going to be able to kind of combat the explode that is coming out. And I think that the increased chain duration as well as the health on Humboldt is going to help with that.
And you know what? I think that's solely to help Nibs hit her fire, get that in, make sure that they don't just like bite it away, and really just get the fire to be so devastating as possible. Is he actually lacking an upgrade? Oh, and that smoke no picking up.
Spade is actually going to be caught off guard right there, as Ubi is now hit by Robbie. Robbie is going to be on the assault. Dave W is going to get silenced right now, and Robbie's going to be able to pick up Dave W
nice.
on the draw.
Oh, that is absolutely nice. I am desperately looking for the third upgrade on the anchor drop. Can you help me with that?
I can see Amp.
Oh, it might just be buggy on my end. In that case, we're ready for that's just the absolute damage that's gonna happen here.
Well, no, I can see Amp as in the future. I can see
Amp
be very powerful for this. Amp
well,
Nibs Fire, Amp Frog Dash, ugh. Especially with that much health on Humboldt right now and the increased duration, that Amp is going to be devastating.
Oh yeah, well in that case we might not actually be... We maybe... No. I don't think that's happening. Oh well. No, not the Amp. I was just mumbling. I am very sorry. But that's a turret down on top, and one more kill, and you know that's gonna be base.
This game can go in either direction, though.
No,
a single
it can,
kill
definitely
for Spade's team, they can easily push those turrets back and get a nice push in both lanes coming out, and a single kill for Ion can potentially secure the game.
And that really just comes down to who gets the kill, and if it's a double, I'm absolutely sure it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's a double kill at this stage in the game, there's going to be no way that the other team, whether it be Ion or Spade, I don't think there's anything they're going to be able to do to combat it, no matter what characters it is.
That's well, we're so far in, and first now we were wrong about the maxed out builds. There were still a couple of upgrades to go, and we're there now.
Oh, I was talking about as far as abilities. I wasn't looking at AA damage. You are correct. But we see that AA kind of increasing on Penny right now, as Cookie Monster Badge and Treasure Map have been bought, allowing that extra damage and attack speed. And that bottom turret only has 3 bars left for Spade and his team, so they need to be very careful with this. And Shirtsy can just keep dropping in with the hammer, allow the turret to start its engagement, and then just drop it.
Oh, man,
and we're going to see that.
Look
Look at that anchor duration, though. I don't think they realized how long that anchor was going to last. Mach now picking up the kill on Ubi, but that bottom turret is being hit right now, and Ubi's going to pick up Ubi's going to pick up Mach now, actually, excuse me, on the exchange. But that turret on the bottom.
Shitsy, though, he has the Penguin Squire, so he has a lot of HP, has a lot of sustain, as well as the Milk of Righteousness. So it wasn't quite enough.
One thing that I do want to say, though, before we continue with that, we saw that double kill come out, but Spade can't really progress right now with these lanes pushed.
No, and the Nips is down. That's important. Nips is actually first now touched the ground. So for the trade, I think that's something different. That's
fair enough. I was contemplating the 2v1 situation as far as the double kill goes. In a 3v1 situation, those turrets would have been gone already. They would have been able to tank it out, dropping Humboldt and just using it as a sponge for those turrets.
With the extra health and all that, that's not going to be a problem at all. Just look at the HP on that thing. They actually have to focus it to get it done.
And that is going to actually increase his cooldown if Humboldt is destroyed, though.
Alright, Clunk picking up the blueprint container.
And Dave W going to be taken down by Shutsu right now. And we're going to see a nice engagement coming down. Ubi needs to drop his fire at any given time right now. And that is going to be a nice kill coming out for Robbie. And here we're going to see potentially...
Oh, the bite!
No!
The bite! He actually manages to pick up the kill with a bite, and now Spade is extremely low, missing both the bite and the explode. Now Spade is looking to get back in the action. He wants this kill, but Mokno not letting him, just pulling out like a chicken.
For 2 situation on the engagement right there. We're almost 40 minutes into this game right now.
Yeah,
as we said before, a single kill or a double kill can change the flow of battle in either direction. And now it's a 1v1, and Spade's going to be eating a huge chunk of damage. And Spade is going to be taken out by Mock now.
Nice.
Dave W is back on map.
That is a nice engagement there. Even though Spade has the shield, and he has the shield. He does not have the barrier magazine, but he does have the shield. That's going to reduce a fair amount of damage, but it's not going to be enough. 20% of the damage was taken, but still he managed to pick up that kill.
20% is going to do nothing against a Clunk with the double snare duration, as well as a full salvo build and a max explode. I don't care who you are. 10% is nothing to that.
And we're actually seeing the Amplify and at last the cooldown upgrade for the Anchor. So we are really getting far into these builds.
Most of these builds are maxed at this point. But there we saw it there, the Amplify. You know, we spoke about it before, how it can be extremely powerful, and it will be extremely powerful depending on who they nab with that Anchor. But Ion has kind of established themselves in this creep section of Spade and his team. So it's going to be very difficult for Spade and his team to progress out of here without taking a lot of damage. And Spade is actually going to be the first person in on the assault of Ion, but is not going to be able to land anything. And the explode coming out, Dave W with a nicely timed dash is going to allow Shirtsy to escape. But that is going to be a pickup, and Ion is going to pick up Spade on that draw. Dave W taking a lot of damage right now. Ubi taking a lot of damage right now. Ion is just chasing them down. Robbie going in for the core.
Oh yeah, and Mokno as well. Look at the damage the Clunk is doing. Look at the damage he's doing.
That's a lot of damage in a very short amount of time.
Oh, come on.
And I'm not sure if they can defend against this, as the Frog is going to get shut down up there.
If they don't focus on the droids, they're not going to... Oh, and there it goes. Ion takes the first finals game.
That was game 1 going to Ion in the North American qualifier. Both teams playing extremely well on that point. We saw the map awareness of both teams really coming into play, their positioning, their communication. Communication is a huge factor in competitive gameplay. Knowing where your opponent is, being able to call it out, calling out how much health the opponent has and who the opponent is. You know, we have the mini-map where you can see the mini faces of your opponents, but you don't know how much health they have at any given time. So being able to communicate with your team and notify them when somebody's low, when somebody should come up, notify them where the opponent is, because we saw a few times in that match where the entirety of Spade's team was on that bottom lane and they had to go through their creep zone and into their jungle for a few seconds just to avoid that bouncer where Ion was waiting for them. So in this top level of gameplay, really take note to how both of these teams play and how they communicate with each other as far as map awareness goes, who to attack, so on and so forth. But an excellent first game. That being said, before we take our break going into game 2, we are going to have another Twitch giveaway. So keep an eye out in the Twitch chat for one of our mods. He is going to be doing a Twitch giveaway. Just follow his instructions and he will be sending that out in a few seconds. So keep an eye on that. We will be right back with game 2 of Ion versus Spade and his incredible team.
Yep.